oír decir que. This is something very, it's used commonly in Spanish, and it's a good phrase. We have two verbs, oír, decir que. This phrase means to hear that, or literally you're hearing someone say something, because we have here oír, which means to listen, to hear, okay? And decir means to say, and que means that or what, okay? So that's the literal translation of it, but it's very similar to saying to hear that something happened or someone said something, okay? So that's the meaning of this phrase. For example, oí decir que van a despedir a varios empleados. Oí decir que van a despedir a varios empleados. This means I heard that they're going to lay off several, employees. Okay? This is a long sentence, but it's not hard to understand it. Let's break it down. Oí, yo oí, heard tense. I heard. You don't need yo, you need oí. Oí decir que. You don't conjugate this verb right here. You don't need to in this situation, in this phrase that we're using. Okay? Oí decir que, I heard that ellos van. We don't need ellos, we need van. And that means they are going. Ellos van, they're going. A, ir a, obviously this comes from the verb ir. And a common phrase to use is ir a, which means to go to, okay? So van a means they are going to do something. What is that? Despedir. Despedir means to say goodbye to someone. Despídete de tu tío. Say bye to your uncle, okay? But in this situation, despedir also, by the way, means to lay off or to fire someone, okay? Despedir, lay off. A, despedir a is commonly used, obviously, to add more information to the sentence. Despedir a. So you're saying, you're about to say who got fired or who got laid off, okay? Despedir a. Varios means several or many, okay? Empleados. Empleados means employees. Those two words look quite similar, so that's good. That's good. Oí decir que van a despedir a varios empleados. I heard that they're going to lay off several employees. That's not something good to hear, definitely. But it happens. It happens. So remember, the phrase is right here, right over here, the one that we're learning. So essentially, you have to conjugate this verb. And I mean, not always, but you can in some situations, of course. And the rest stays the same. Now, the next example. Let's look at the next example. Let's just look at the next example. Let's not complicate things. Let's focus on this phrase. Okay, the next example is: te oí decir que te caigo mal. Okay, so this is actually an example using a reflexive pronoun. You're more directly saying, hey, I heard you say something, you know? Because right here, the one above, oí decir que, right? It's more vague. Who said that? We don't know. Someone said, we heard, from someone. It's very vague. But if you want to be more precise, more specific, then you can say, hey, I heard you say something. For example, te oí decir que te caigo mal. Te oí decir que te caigo mal. So the meaning is, I heard you say that you don't like me. Well, that is not nice. That is not nice. Te oí decir. Here's the reflexive pronoun. Te oí decir. Okay? Oí. Here is the phrase. And that means I heard you say. Okay, so this is a more literal translation because we have obviously decir, and decir means say, right? So right here, it's, it's more vague. You're not saying, literally say here, right? In this example, decir, say, it's not here. But here, it can also be like that. The translation can be like that. Te oí decir que, I heard you say that yo te caigo mal. Now, we don't need yo, we need te. We have reflexive pronoun here, reflexive pronoun here as well. So, te means you in this situation. I heard you. Yo te oí. Que te, again, you. Caigo mal. Caer mal. Caigo comes from the verb caer. Okay? Caer means to fall. But if you use the phrase caer mal, that means to not like. Okay? You don't like in a person specifically. Or when you eat something and you feel your belly feels upset, then you can also use that phrase, caer mal. Me caen mal las cebollas. You're either saying you don't like onions or that when you eat onions, you get some stomachache. Okay, so that's what you're saying there. Caer mal means to not like, okay? When you put it here like that, yo que te caigo mal, that means you don't like me, okay? Yo te caigo mal, you don't like me, okay? We don't have yo here, you don't need it. I know that here says me and we don't have me in the sentence here, but remember, we cannot translate word by word from English into Spanish because they're both different languages. So once again, you can use reflexive pronouns just as I said before, but commonly you use them at the beginning. Te oí decir, le oí decir, les oí decir, te oí decir, le oí decir. It depends what you want to say. So remember, you can use reflexive pronouns in this situation. For obviously when using this phrase, you can use reflexive pronouns. Sometimes you don't need them, especially if you're vaguely saying, hey, I heard that something happened. Okay, so just remember that. Excellent.